Greetings of the day. So today's session is really special as it incorporates the theme of BITSian couples. I, Arya Agarwal, along with Priyanka, the host for today's session, are really proud to welcome Mr. and Mrs. Palakurti, or Anuradha and Prashant. Prashant is from the 78 batch and Anuradha ma'am is from the 84 batch. So starting off with this really fun discussion, the first question is regarding your meeting. How did you guys meet? And in fact, who proposed who?
Should I start?
You.
Well, we met in ET. And you know what ET is, right?
No.
No, they're from Goa and Hyderabad.
Hyderabad campus would like to know.
Yes,
Hi,
we would
Arya.
definitely
Hi,
want to know.
Priyanka. Very nice to meet you. And we're very happy here today to do this with you guys. So, I met Prashant in during a jam session, like
Debate.
just a minute debate
Yes.
going on.
Okay.
Fresher debate, fresher elocution debate, something in engineering theater in the Pilani campus.
Right, and somebody introduced us. It's a big story behind this, but that I was a fresher and he was the senior most guy
I was in my,
in the campus, so that's how we met.
should I tell them which year I was in? I was in my 7th year, I think, or 7th year.
Yeah.
Ooh, but so what's the story behind that? Was there a backlog or?
No, there was no backlog. I'll tell you what. We had a 5-year degree. So I joined mathematics. So 5 years of MSc mathematics in Pilani those days. So in the 4th year, we had to pick a dual degree. So dual degree, if you did MBA, it had an extra semester. So it was 1.5 semesters on top of that. So it became 6.5-year degree. So dual degree of mathematics and MBA was 6.5 years during my time.
Oh, okay, that way. Okay, understood.
So that 6.5 becomes, 7th year first semester. So that was my last semester. This was her first semester when we met in engineering theater.
Wow.
That's really nice.
She was 9 days old in Pilani at that time.
He was 7 years old.
I was 90 years old, I think, at that time in Pilani.
So
Okay.
yeah, who proposed to whom?
Yeah.
Proposed?
Yeah.
I don't think there was a proposal. It was just like a statement. I'm going to marry you.
Come what?
And that was it. And
Come what?
And I was like, okay.
So I said, I'll marry you, come what, mate. It doesn't matter what anybody says, I'm marrying you.
I don't think it happens like that anymore. Nobody says I'm going to marry you, and probably never happened then too.
I was rude, I think.
No, he was very sure, and I think a 17-year-old, I was sure too.
Wow, that's beautiful. Like that's something very, very special. So during those days, like today we have so much social media, we have mobiles, and it's so easy to keep in touch with each other. But that was not the story back then. So how did you guys, communicated with each other? Did you write letters or how was it?
That is true. Actually, she used to write letters, I used to write letters, but we used to speak on the phone as well. And the telephone those days was very expensive to call from Pune, Bangalore, wherever I was.
No. Go back. In Pilani, he used to send me a card every 2 weeks.
Or every month at least.
No, it were 2
Every
cards
2 weeks,
every
okay.
month. Yeah, handwritten cards.
We lost them all.
We lost them all.
Good.
But
I think my mother-in-law found them and stashed them somewhere to blackmail me later, but I don't know where they are after that.
But then after we moved out, and when I was in Delhi, he used to call me every day, and he spent his entire, salary on phone calls. And I think his salary a couple of months was 25 paise those days.
Ooh.
Because the company deducted all the telephone call bills. My salary went up. Actually, it was 25 paise was my salary 1 month. Because I would spend time speaking with her. She left Pilani and went to join JMC for a few months.
For a year.
For a year? Yeah.
Yeah, I hung around for a year. Yeah.
Wow.
So that brings me to the question, what was your parents' reaction like for two of you? Because we got to know that like both of you are from different states. And secondly, we were also mentioned about this ongoing rumor that Prashant actually told your dad that he's a 10-pointer. So,
What's
is
the
it
story
really
behind
true?
that?
Yeah, what's the story behind that?
Or I just pull everybody's leg on that because Juju's family, Juju's father is a scientist and for them education, and he's from South Indian Brahmin family, so they were raised in those days with a deep sense of attachment to education being the most important thing. But Appa married a Christian lady, so he was not so conservative as to not, he was very liberal for his time in 1950s to marry a Christian woman, and it was, though it caused some crisis in the house, they were like that. And Juju came up with, I mean, a deep sense of, but she was raised, of course, in Hindu faith in the man's house.
Yeah.
But her sense of secularism and something like that was very, very unique. So Appa, when I went to meet Appa, of course, I told Appa I was terrible at studies, and it kind of broke his heart. I told him I was terrible. But there was a dean at that time, Dean Venkateshwaran, who later on became the vice chancellor of Pilani. He was a mathematics professor. He told Appa, your future son-in-law will be an extremely bright guy. And I think I'm very grateful to him for lying so much about me. And that kind of set my father-in-law's mind at rest. I couldn't have told my father-in-law I was a 10-pointer because he was a teacher in Pilani at that time.
He was,
Yeah.
so he was a visiting professor. So he would come in to on science and communication. I think he would teach. Visiting professors do that, and he was very good friends with Professor Venkateshwaran. So he had nobody else to check with. So and Professor Venkateshwaran was my guardian there. So and he was very aware of what was happening. So then he went and told him, "Hey, I got a visit from this person, this kid, this student, and he seems to be very serious. And what do you think of him?" So despite having a lot of skirmishes with Professor Venkateshwaran, you had, earlier in your past, you have a history with him. He was like, he's a good guy.
Because, when I was a general secretary of the Students' Union in 1980. So we didn't get along well with all the teachers, and he was a dean. So it was not, I didn't know what he would say about me.
But thankfully, he was a dean engineering division and
No, maths.
maths. So he had
My
all
God.
A's in maths.
Yeah.
So with professors, that's the only thing that matters.
And the only A's I had were in maths and computer science. Everything else was E, so it didn't matter.
So he was very happy. So
He was good. But to answer your question largely, in terms of relationships, right? There's one thing which I was very firm on was absolute honesty. So whatever you ask, you just say it, and even when we were dating, there was nothing that I hid. I don't even hide now.
So-
If you check my Facebook wall.
So going back to your question, my parents had no issues with the fact that he was from another state. Such an alien concept for us now. But I know in India it still matters even today. And those days it mattered more. His parents also had no issues, I think. They were very happy. And my parents, I think the only issue was that I would finish my education. That was the only thing that bothered them. Nothing else.
And in terms of issues, my parents had an issue, when Juju came to see them for the first time, she sang a song within first 5 minutes. And they melted, collapsed, and they just, both of them went on to her side and started abusing me for not letting her finish studies and forcing her into marriage. So
I think we should stop. We just have us talk. We can go on and on.
yeah.
There won't be any
Go on,
end
sorry,
to
I'll
it.
let you ask.
So,
You can
what?
edit everything if you want.
No, this is beautiful. That's nice. Like you had your support of your family and around, and of course, like Sir is an inspiration. Like for being so sure and so what is I know like you spent not so much time on the campus together, but what is your favorite memory from the from the campus days that you both guys shared then?
Come on, every single day. I know it sounds very cheesy, but that's the truth.
Every day in the morning, she would come from Meera Bhavan, and I would meet her we'd go to the canteen, and that was my last semester. So I had to do thesis. I was doing some work for Professor K.R.V. Subramaniam. I don't know if you know him. KRVS, Raja, he was called. He was my thesis guide in the last semester. So I did a thesis there, and it was on something to do with computer programming stuff. So I did that for him, and every day we would go out and have coffee. I think it's, for me, the most favorite moment was when she would sing. I would make her sit down in Mandir launch and okay, Gana Gao, and when she would sing, it would just blow my head off. It was. I still remember first time I went to Pilani, when I picked her up from ET, I had to drop her back to Meera Bhavan. You know, all seniors, they have to drop girls back, right? So I was dropping her back. I said, what do you do? She said, I sing. Now everybody says they sing, you know. And so I said, okay, fine, sing. And when she sang, it just, my head went into, I said, wow, this is not singing. This is something else. So I said, okay, sit down now. I made her sit in front of Krishna Bhavan in the lawns. I said, okay, sit down and sing a full song. And when she sang that song, the song was Musafir Hoon Yaro. She sang a Kishore Kumar song. Yeah, and then when she sang that, I just said, wow, this girl is just something else. So I said, okay, you go and learn some other song and come back, learn some ghazals. So she was scared that I was a super senior and she was a fresher, so she went to learn a ghazal. And the next time I met her, she had this ghazal ready, and she, man, it was, I couldn't imagine living without her. So I think I met her on August 18th. I proposed to her on 16th September. Within 4 weeks, you know, I said, whatever happens, I'll marry you. And I left Pilani and I married her.
Unbelievable.
That is so sweet and firm. So, yeah. So, okay, since you mentioned singing, so like almost everyone who knows the two of you, they know that how great of a singer Anuradha is. But we would really want to test your skills here, Prashant. Like, could you sing for Anuradha?
For Anuradha.
You know, actually, I did sing for her once in Pilani, and it scarred her forever. So she said, Prashant, whatever happens, don't ever sing for me.
No, I never said I never said those things, but he's not a singer. Though he has a very good sense of music, I think. Excellent.
I have a good sense of picking up a wife.
His mom sings beautifully, so somewhere in his genes he's got it.
So what do you want me to do? You want me to sing a song?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then Anuradha can join, you know, but we want you to.
No. Okay.
This is our song, yeah.
God, this is horrible. I don't know how to.
You can sing. It's okay.
जाने मन तेरे दो नयन चोरी चोरी लेके गए देखो मेरा मन जाने मन जाने मन जाने मन
मेरे दो नयन चोर नहीं सजन तुमसे ही खोया होगा कहीं तुम्हारा मन जाने मन जाने मन जाने मन.
No, I can't sing after this. I'm done. See, this is
That
what
was so nice. Yeah.
I just start looking at her. You know, how the hell am I going to sing?
Yes, we
It was the same for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the song becomes like la 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 la, something at the end, it goes on. And then I just stop singing. I just look at her face and say, okay, you sing it.